Good morning you guys, it's Karen and another background. I know this is a bit garish, a bit bright. This is a background that I used when I had the groom room and was grooming dogs. I would put that at table level and take pictures of them with that as the background. And so at the minute there are holes behind that in the pink where we've taken shells off and whatnot, and the paint that I had to go over it is now well out of date and it's just all very thin even if you stir it. So I need to have a rethink. And it was that comment that kind of spurred me on to think, you know what, I've had the room like this for 4 years, let's have a little change. So I've got two little pots in my cupboard that I thought I might try these colours on the wall here, these two little metallic colours. One's a sort of green and one's a purple. I think the purple is the one that appeals. I feel like I might have tried it and it was too dark, but we shall see. So for the time being, it'll either be this background you'll see. I just want to film this one video and see what it looks like when I watch it back, or it'll be the other way around, but it is quite bright today, so I'm sitting here with the light behind my camera. I seem to have the light directly in my eyes, so I can't see what I look like. So any hairs out of place or any lipstick smears or anything, no laughing. But we're here to talk about these two products. This is the Matrixyl, let's read the title, Matrixyl 10% plus hyaluronic acid, and this has got Matrixyl 3000 in it. And then this is the buffet serum. This is actually all used up. And this has Matrixyl in it and some other types of Matrixyl and some other things in it. So I'm talking about these two in one because I feel like they're very similar. They've got very similar ingredients. This one is just, the Matrixyl is a bit more concentrated and a bit more of a single ingredient product. I have used up the buffet and sort of tested it. I used it all over my face and neck since getting it a couple of months ago. I didn't use it consistently every single night because obviously there were other things I was using. So I've used that one up. The Matrixyl I've only used a couple of times and I will be kind of testing this going forward. Both of these products are peptides, and that's the anti-aging ingredient, if you like. That's the thinking behind it, to put peptides in a product. And peptides are something that they're basically amino acids that are linked by peptide bonds. And these are in every cell and every tissue of the body, and they are used as transporters. Matrixyl 3000 in the Matrixyl from The Ordinary was the first one that was started to be used for anti-aging and was hailed a kind of miracle product. Then I think they discovered or started using the Matrixyl Synth 6, which is in the buffet. The buffet also has Matrixyl in it. So this is Matrixyl 3000, this has Matrixyl 3000 and Matrixyl Synth 6. This also has in it some other peptides. It also has in it castor oil. It has in it caustic soda, which I'm not sure of as an ingredient. That's a very high pH product. It will be pH balanced in here. Both of these are a pH of 5, by the way. I have tested the pH of them, both 5.0. I'm just not sure how I feel about caustic soda being in my skincare, and it's in this. What else? Have I put anything else in this? Castor oil, I said, other peptides. Oh, there's argireline in this buffet as well. Argireline is another product that you can buy on its own. So buffet has Matrixyl 3000 that you can buy on its own, argireline that you can buy on its own, and then everything else is just some other peptides. Argireline is the product that I've been using around my eyes, and if you remember my last update, I've seen a little bit of difference. But what you've got to remember is that is an argireline, I think that one is a 10%, I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's 10%, and the amount in here will be negligible. This is a combination of ingredients, so it will be a lot less, you know, that's why there's no strength on it, because it will be a low strength. And so somebody asked me the question, because there's argireline in the buffet, do I still think that it should be put in concentrated areas? But no, I think that you can put the buffet all over. I think the argireline in it is such a small amount that I don't think that's an issue. So price wise, same size of a bottle, same type of a bottle. The buffet is £12.70 and the Matrixyl is £9. The Matrixyl is less expensive because the buffet has got obviously more ingredients in it that may be more expensive. There's a tiny bit there. Let me see if I can show you what the buffet is like. They're both very, very similar in, yeah, there is a bit left there. That's the buffet, so you can see that drop on there. They're both clear lotions. I don't know if that's going to run down or not. It's running down slightly. Let's put the Matrixyl to the side of it and see what happens with that. So again, the Matrixyl, you couldn't tell the difference in them if you put them side by side like that, where they're both liquids. The Matrixyl looks like it's running down a bit quicker, so it may be ever so slightly thinner, and I did think that when I put it on, but pretty much they're both the same sort of watery gel feeling lovely to put on. They both feel quite moisturising, but not a moisturiser, not something you could use on their own, but it's not like the idurolene is a very, very thin liquid. And so when I put that on my eyes, there's definitely no moisture there at all. You know, you can almost feel that it's going to be drying, and I always want to put something on top of that to take away from that dryness. With this, it leaves a sort of tacky base, and your skin doesn't feel tight or anything like that. So let's have a look at the thinking behind peptides and Matrixyl 3000 and Matrixyl Synth 6, etc. on anti-aging. The thinking is, or the claims if you like, are that it can cause the skin to produce more collagen, thus improving skin texture, elasticity of the skin, and so that's why it has been marketed, advertised, sold as this anti-aging product. It is in already a lot of products that we buy from the drugstore. For example, it's in Olay products. Do you remember the number 7 Protect and Perfect? When it first came out, their first serum, and everybody loved it, that has Matrixyl in it, Matrixyl 3000 I believe, and so it's an ingredient that was already being used over the years. It's just become more popular, and companies have been more open about the fact that they're using it. In terms of research though, there's minimal research, really minimal research, and I was surprised at this because I don't know why actually, but so many people were talking about Matrixyl. And in fact, I remember my friend Laurie, if you ever watch Laurie Over 40, Laurie and I were friends, and I remember her telling me about this Matrixyl 3000, and you know, you've got to use it, it's amazing. I'd never heard of it. And I just assumed from the amount of people talking about it, the fact that it was being sold, that there was a lot of research behind it. I don't know why I made that assumption, but like I said, there's minimal research. There are 2 small studies, and this is talking specifically about Matrixyl, not about any other peptide. And the studies have been done by the companies that manufacture Matrixyl. So do you remember I talked before about the conflict of interest? You can't really, that's not really considered a bona fide study. That's like me doing a study of how good my channel is. Of course I'm going to be biased, and so yeah, it's a little bit tricky to evaluate that kind of study. However, the interesting study that did go on was in 2013, the University of Reading produced some results that showed that Matrixyl in vitro, so this is a lab study that they were doing that was nothing to do with skincare, but they did use Matrixyl, and it did show that it did produce some more collagen in vitro. So that's really encouraging to me, you know, the fact that it shows that in theory it works. The mechanism that they are claiming it has is working. It does produce more collagen, but like I said, that needs to be tested out really on human skin. Because it has been used for so many years, it does seem to have quite a good safety profile though. There's no concerns with that. So if you want to use either of these, I'll talk about which one would be my preference in a moment, but if you want to use either of these, it's just putting a couple of drops on morning or evening or both. It's not a product that you need to worry about, you know, waiting afterwards or pH adjusting before you use it or anything like that. It is just, it's a nice pH 5.0, and yeah, there's nothing else as far as I know that it doesn't mix with or that you can't use it with. I would use it after cleansing, probably after retinoids and retinols, but before any other serums and oils, things like that. Your oils and moisturisers would come after this. And after acids, sorry, I didn't say that, after acids if you're using acids. But do you remember I did already say about acids that I think it would be beneficial if you're using, say you're using a lactic acid, to wait 20 minutes before applying anything. So that would include the Matrixyl or the buffet, but that is just you may get the best benefit from your acids. That's not a must-have or anything to do with there'll be a bad reaction if you use it afterwards at all. That's simply just to give every product its chance to work at its best. So which one should you go for? This is tricky because there is no, if you've got this type of wrinkles, go for this one, or this type of wrinkles, go for this one, because they both, there's nothing in either of them that necessarily has any research behind it or any evidence behind it. They're both using the technology of peptides, and that's both about getting more collagen going in your skin and about elasticity, etc. For me personally, I won't repurchase the buffet because of the caustic soda. I'm just, like I said, not 100% convinced that I want to be putting that on my skin, and that is not from a place of knowledge. Let me just say that. That is simply from, well, it's from a place of knowledge of that as an ingredient is what I just use to clean my oven, and yeah, I'm just not sure from that point of view, but that doesn't mean I know how it reacts with other products, and that it could be completely harmless, because water is something that everybody knows is great to drink, etc., etc. But even water can be harmful drunk in too big a quantity. So it's just how I feel at the moment. But even that I have no evidence to back up that it's bad for your skin or anything like that. I need to have a little look into that bit of research. But Buffet has more ingredients in. So what I would say is, obviously, if money's an issue, go for the Matrixyl, because it's £9 versus £12.70, so you're saving nearly £4. And I would go for the Matrixyl anyway, because I believe in higher concentrations and more concentrated ingredients. And the Buffet, although it has many other things in it, you're sort of hedging your bets with Buffet. If you get Buffet, there may be more chance of one of the things in it working. It's got castor oil in it, which is good, argireline in it, which is good, and it's got 2 types of Matrixyl in it, so chances are one of them may work, but they're at a very low concentration, whereas the Matrixyl 3000 there's now some evidence come out in 2013 from this university that it does have that action, and it's more concentrated. So I would personally go with the Matrixyl, but they feel the same on the skin, and I don't think there's not much between them. I certainly don't think you need both. Testing wise, like I said, I finished the Buffet and won't be repurchasing that. I used this I can't even give you a kind of schedule, because I just used it on days where I wasn't using something else for whatever reason. I know that a lot of people are using a lot of products, and somebody asked me, do you think your skin, you know how I've got this little thing on my chin here, somebody asked me, do you think that's because you're using too many products? But I know it could seem like I'm using a shed load of products on my skin, but the only time I've used many different products was when I first put in my orders of all the Ordinary products, and I maybe would try something for 1 or 2 days, or even once, just to see what the feeling was like, how my skin reacted, etc. And although I may be using a combination of between 6 and 8 products, I'm using 1 around the eyes, 1 on my paws, 1 on my chin, 1 on my neck. That's 4 products. So I'm not using any more than probably 2 to 3 in one area. So I'll put all of those bits on my problem areas, and then maybe put like Buffet all over my skin, and on my neck, etc. So yeah, I didn't feel any difference from that at all, so I wouldn't repurchase that. The Matrixyl I've only just got, and I've used it a couple of times. It feels lovely, but I haven't seen any instant results from it. I wouldn't expect to. What I'm currently doing, as you guys know, is, well, what I was doing, this little reaction here, was I'd switched the salicylic and azelaic acid. So I was using azelaic acid on my chin, salicylic on my paws, and I'm still using the agirreline around my eyes. And on my neck, I'm using the alpha lipoic acid, and I'm using the alpha lipoic acid on my skin, but only twice a week, and a little bit. So I'm using that and testing that on my neck. And on the days I don't use the alpha lipoic acid, I'm using the advanced 2% retinoid on my neck. Now, you might say, well, how will you know that it's the alpha lipoic acid and not the 2% retinoid? If you've watched my video, you'll know that I don't believe that 2% retinoid would have any effect on skin, even within a year, because retinoids, strong retinoids, take 6 months to a year before you see results. And so something that is a retinoid ester is not going to show a result in a couple of weeks. I like it as a product. I like the ingredients. It's a lovely, soft, moisturising ingredient on me. I know some people have had some flaking, but I think once I get to the end of that, it's not something I'm going to use again. So I'm testing the alpha lipoic on my neck. There is a point in me talking about this. Once my retinoid has run out, I'll probably be at the end of my alpha lipoic acid test as well, and I will talk about the results and do a video. And then I'm going to test this, certainly on my neck, possibly around my eyes, as well, in conjunction with the agirreline, and see if that can maybe multiply the effects, or if the agirreline's run out, I might give that a break and just use this around my eyes. I don't know, but I will test this for you, and do a video update at the 1 month, 2 months, etc. But I haven't yet diaried it and detailed exactly how I'm going to use it. So that's everything on those 2 peptides by The Ordinary. I hope that was useful for you, and it's helped you maybe decide if you want to use either one and which one you want to use. Just a quick update on the serum foundation. I have cancelled my orders for the other 2 colours. I don't like it at all. I think I would have preferred other colours. Definitely that one was a bit too light for me when I watched it back. but I don't even think it looked that great on camera, but it looked worse in person. I just think after a couple of hours, it looked like, hadn't gone patchy immediately, but when I looked in the mirror, you know when you see somebody and you just know that they've got thick foundation on, even if it's not, you know, patchy or anything like that, it just looks like it's on thick. That's what it looked like to me. It just didn't look good at all. And then, you know, a few hours in, it was starting to go patchy in places. So it would sort of gather in that line of my chin, and then it would sink into my face. The rest of my face, it would have sunken in, you know, so around my pores and whatnot, it sunk in, whereby you could just see little dots of the foundation in my pores. It just didn't look good. It's just not one that lasted long on me. So the serum foundation is just not for me. I'm hoping that I will enjoy the coverage foundation more. It's such a shame because I really did like it when it went on. I thought it looked beautiful when it first went on, and that continued to be the case using it. It's just, it quickly disappeared. So yeah, I've ordered the coverage foundation, but I haven't got it yet, so I will be doing a review of that as soon as I get it. That's everything. Let me tell you what I've got on. I've got on Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in light sand. On my eyes, I've used my Visart, what palette? One of the Theory palettes. I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the Theory palettes. I'll list it in the description. On my cheeks, I use my Urban Decay blush in Rapture. This is Kat Von D. This, I think it's Bow and Arrow. I'm pretty sure it's Bow and Arrow, but I think because I used a darker lip liner, which was a NYX one, I think, it's made it look darker, and I thought, did I put Lolita on? I'm sure I've only got Bow and Arrow in my bag, but I couldn't read it, and I didn't have my glasses handy, so I was just like, whatever, I'll just put it on. So that's what's on my lips. And you can see I've done my nails. I just love them. I decided, well, my husband told me he was paying for me to have my nails done for my birthday, which is in 2 weeks on the 3rd of June. So I said, well, I'm not sure. I said, I'd been saying I'd love to have long nails again. I used to always have long nails. I miss having long nails, and I don't seem to be able to grow them out and do them the right shape and whatnot, you know. And bless him, I thought he wasn't going to be here on my birthday because there's a golf competition, but he said, no, I'm not playing in a competition on your birthday. And so he said, you know, why don't you get your nails done? And I said, well, the only place I'd go is this particular salon, and it's the owner of the salon that I would go to, because I've been to so many people where I've wasted money and my nails have looked terrible, that she's the only person I go to. And I said, I remember when I was going to her before the wedding, you had to book like 6 weeks in advance. She was that full. So I said, there's no way she's going to have an appointment in 2 weeks. Anyway, he said, just try. He said, he pointed out this Christmas that he remembered I had a disaster haircut, and he said, phone and see if you can get an appointment to get it, you know, to get a new haircut on Christmas Eve, I think it was. And I was saying to him, I know he's going to have an appointment on Christmas Eve, blah, blah, blah. And I did get one. And he pointed that out, and he said, just try. He said, all they can say is no, you know. So I dropped them an email, and sure enough, she's got an appointment in the afternoon. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, I can't wait to have my nails done. But I've had these nail tips. I think they're by Kiss. I'll link them for you. I'll try and find them online if I can and link them for you. And they're just French manicure tips. So I thought, right, I'm going to put them on so that I can get used to having long nails again. And then I've just put gel on top, just the Sensation Nail gel polish. I've just put that on top. So they're not very strong. They might not last very long, but I love them. I absolutely love them, and Watson loves them too because he can get a good scratch. So I think that's everything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope the background wasn't too distracting, and I shall speak to you again in the next video.